Okay, then let's focus now on day 3 and talking of Mexico. Let's focus on their draw with Poland. Obviously, France and Denmark were in action as well. We'll chat about that in those 2 groups, in Group C and Group D. But Mexico, let's start with them. I mean, Memo Ochoa saving a penalty kick from Robert Lewandowski. That was the big storyline around that, and obviously grabbed Mexico a point. But Nick, Mexico are actually really good for vast swathes in this game. I mean, what do we make of Altri's display? Because they came out flying in the first half, had the better chances. It was just kind of similar to the US, it seemed. They faltered a little bit and lost their way a little bit in the second half. But that was a very good performance, and they can feel very hard done by. I didn't get all 3 points from that game.
Yeah, and I think similar to the U.S. is a really good way to put it, in the sense that if they just had some finishing, I think we're talking about a different game. And Henry Martin wasn't terrific. Lozano, I think, announced himself well. Edson Alvarez announced himself well. Herrera turned back the clock, although obviously he couldn't go the whole time. If I'm looking around, especially at Memo, who, if he's not a legend, I mean, he already was a legend, but if there's anyone who doubts, he might play till he's 60. He looks the same. But the one thing you're going to look for if you're a Mexico fan is, are they going to be able to get goals when they need them? Because they even had a player kind of announce himself in Chavez. I was super, super impressed against a Poland team that I think is pretty good.
Yeah, I think so, Andy, right? I mean, what were your thoughts on Altri? And by the way, Memo Ochoa looks like Ted Mosby, right, from How I Met Your Mother. That is the dead ringer. Every time I see it, I think he's in goal. But go ahead, please.
I don't know how to follow that. I'll switch to Poland for a second, because I do think it's worth the discussion on a team that's kind of built the way that they have been for the last however many years since Lewandowski has been that player for them. Typically, you see these teams that have a star striker and it feels like not much else. They struggle when they get to major tournaments because they can't get them on the ball, and they certainly can't get them on the ball in dangerous areas of the field with any sort of time or space. And so to see him then have the opportunity to convert a penalty like that and have a moment and really give Poland obviously a dream start with what happened in the other game in the group, to have it saved like that, it feels like that's going to kind of just be, I don't want to say the legacy of Robert Lewandowski internationally, but I think that's going to be that moment. I think kind of sums up what a lot of his career in Poland as well, in numerous tournaments consecutively now, where they come in as dark horses and they just don't quite show up. They just don't quite have it when it's time to get on the field. Always frustrating, always fall for it as well. I always pick them to do well.
And I mean, in terms of Group C with Saudi Arabia shocking Mexico, Nick, I'm sorry, Argentina. Mexico got Argentina next. Poland got Saudi Arabia. I mean, how do you see it shaping up there? Because it's, as you mentioned, kind of a group of death now, right? With Argentina losing now, it's just a free-for-all there, and that could be the most exciting group in the whole tournament.
For some reason, the way you just phrased it, even though I knew the schedule, really kind of told me how I think the rest of this is going to go. And by the way, I also said that I thought Argentina would comfortably win. So maybe totally discount everything I say. I look at the players that Poland brought off the bench and left on the bench. Some really questionable stuff there. Milic is a good player, right? We look at a lot of these guys, even Bednarek not playing. I really do think Poland will rebound. I think that Argentina-Mexico game is going to be your proverbial chef's kiss. It could go in absolutely any direction. Argentina could walk all over them. Mexico could punk Argentina. It could be a dull draw. It could be a 4-4 draw. It's absolutely anything can happen in that game.
There could be 7 red cards as well.
Oh my goodness. That's an excellent point. Although I will say this, as good as Ochoa was, I can't imagine we're going to see Martinez not get to, one of those balls, even though the goals were fantastic. He just seemed out of reach there, and that was weird.
Yeah, it was a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Argentina and Mexico, no strangers to each other in World Cup tournaments. And Mexico's fans, they turned up in Qatar. They were everywhere at that game and spurring their team on. So that is going to be a heck of an occasion when they meet. So Group C is very sort of evenly matched. And Mexico, I think, performed better than their fans and everyone else who's watched them recently expected. So they just need that finishing touch like the US. So if Raul Jimenez, he came on for a bit today, if he can somehow get up to speed enough to start, or at least go 60 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever the next game, then I think that will give them more of a focal point for Lozano and Vega as well. I thought was really good to kind of those guys to build off. Then that's the key for Mexico moving forward.